The marble game seems simple. 2 people, a back of marbles, and flexible roles. But in reality, it is the cruelest game of probability in the entire Squid Game. Each pair is given 10 marbles. The objective is clear: collect 20. There are no restrictions. They may use any game mutually agreed upon. At a glance, this looks like a standard decision-making game. But if we look at the structure, it is full of information asymmetry, probability manipulation, and optimal strategies never mentioned on screen. In this matrix, there is an information gap between the 2 players. Player A has to guess odd or even, while player B chooses the number of marbles. The problem is, A doesn't know the parity of B's choice, and B doesn't know A's guess, so both make decisions without knowing the other's move. Now look at this example. First column, first row. Player A guesses odd, and player B indeed chose an odd amount. In this combination, A wins and B loses. That is why this game falls into the category of a Bayesian game. Decisions are made based on belief, not information. At the beginning of the game, player A has a 50% chance of guessing correctly. However, this is only true if player B chooses a number randomly. In reality, almost no player is capable of being truly random. The moment player B panics, hesitates, or becomes too defensive, a pattern begins to emerge. And in a game like this, a pattern is a weakness. This game appears to be about, quote, random number guessing. But in reality, players have 2 very distinct probability strategies: reducing variance or increasing variance. If player A has a large lead, the optimal strategy is to play conservatively. They need to avoid variance. The more rounds played, the smaller the chance of defeat, provided they keep the change in marbles small. Conversely, player B, who is near defeat, is in a probability-pressured position. They must take big risks. The larger the bet in each round, the greater the chance of turning the tables. This is the fundamental principle of portfolio theory. When you are behind, extreme risk is not a bad choice. It is the only chance. The most lethal part of the marble game is signaling. Players can give false information, empty promises, or misleading instructions. And since there is no time to verify, the opponent is forced to either trust or question that signal. This is what happens between Sangwoo and Ali. Sangwoo gives the signal that they will work together. In game theory, this is called cheap talk, a message that costs nothing to send. Ali updates his belief based on that signal. In Bayesian terms, this is a posterior update, a belief that changes after receiving a message. But that signal was false. And a single incorrect probability update is enough to destroy the entire decision tree. This game is not just about choosing a number, it is about choosing when to stop playing. With 30 minutes and unlimited rounds, players must decide when the risk of stopping is worthwhile. This resembles an optimal stopping problem, like the secretary problem, but in a destructive version. The player who is already ahead must stop sooner. Every additional round introduces unnecessary volatility. The player who is behind must, conversely, prolong the game as much as possible. Every round adds a chance for extreme luck. The marble game is not a number-guessing game. It is a decision theory experiment. Players who lose do not lose because they are foolish, but because the probability structure forces them toward failure. Information asymmetry makes decisions difficult. Variance pressures the trailing player. False signals alter probabilities. And the decision of when to stop is the part that is never taught. In a game like this, the right decision doesn't always save you. Sometimes, the structure truly leaves you with no choice.